The story of Sarah, finding peace amidst financial storms. Greetings to all brothers and sisters in the love of Jesus Christ. Today, Father Johnny wants to invite you to listen to a story, not of a celebrity, not of a thunderous miracle, but a quiet yet powerful testimony. This story comes from a child of God named Sarah, who lives in a small town in America, someone who once struggled amidst a storm of debt and then found peace from her very provider. Story 1. When the burden of debt became chains on the soul, Sarah, a young woman full of aspirations, graduated with honors and started her dream job in marketing. With a stable income, life seemed to blossom, but with early success, she also fell into the sweet trap of credit and overspending. Student loans, credit card debt, lavish shopping, carefree travel, all like small waves coalescing into a tsunami that crashed down on her life. One day, Sarah suddenly realized she was drowning. Sleepless nights dragged on, her eyes gradually withered. Laughter disappeared, replaced by fear every time she checked her account balance. And in those moments when she felt like giving up, Sarah turned back to God. On a sad night, she opened her mother's old Bible and came across the Lord's words. "I will teach you what is profitable for you, and will show you the way you should go." Isaiah 48:17. Sarah began to pray, not for money to fall from the sky, but for peace of mind. She changed her spending habits, learned to manage her finances, and started a humble but stable part-time job. She cut up her credit cards, paid off small amounts one by one, and persevered, not alone, but with God by her side. Lessons for each of us. 1. Debt is an invisible cage. Financial freedom begins with spending discipline. Don't let sweet advertisements steal your peace. 2. Faith is an anchor for the soul in a storm. Sarah didn't wait for a miracle. She began to pray and act one step at a time, with a steadfast heart in the Lord. 3. Peace is not found in a bank balance. Money is a tool, not an end. God is the never-ending source of provision. 4. God still performs miracles in His own way: a job opportunity, a friend's help, an invited meal. Sarah called them small miracles, but enough to sustain her each day. Story 2. A stumble in life's storm. Dear brothers and sisters, just when life seemed to be nothing but waves of financial worry, Sarah never expected an even bigger storm, the COVID-19 deluge, to quietly arrive. The world reeled. The company she worked for began to falter. Contracts were canceled, budgets cut, and then a fateful call from HR delivered a short but brutal announcement. "We are forced to terminate your contract." Sarah froze. Her ears rang. A choked sob escaped her, not just because she lost her job, but because she knew she lost her only source of hope amidst mounting debts. Darkness descends. That night, Sarah huddled in her cold room, her pillow soaked with tears. Her whispered voice was choked with sorrow. "Oh Lord, what am I to do now?" Her phone still blinked with debt collection messages. Her refrigerator was empty. Her mailbox was full of warning letters. Sarah felt every door slam shut. She locked herself in her room, avoiding the gaze of neighbors, even avoiding the mirror, which reflected the image of a broken person. When everything falls apart, is there still hope? Not only her finances were depleted, but her spirit, faith, and resilience also crumbled piece by piece. Days followed one another like black pages, no light, no escape. But brothers and sisters, it was in the deepest darkness that light began to glimmer. Lessons for each of us. 1. Debt doesn't just suffocate finances, but also the soul. Overspending, seemingly harmless, can become chains that bind the spirit. Be alert and live content. because true freedom comes not from wealth, but from peace of mind. 2. Life can always take unexpected turns. COVID-19 is the clearest proof. No one is absolutely safe. Prepare an emergency fund. And more than that, prepare a firm faith for difficult days. 3. Despair can consume you if you don't seek help. Isolation is a silent enemy. Don't let fear keep you away from community, family, and especially away from God. He is always waiting for you to return. 4. When all old paths close, that's when new paths begin. Sarah didn't realize it, but this was a turning point for her to reflect, reshape her life, and open her heart to something new from God. 5. Faith. That is the lighthouse in the stormy ocean. Even though Sarah's faith seemed to falter at times, God did not abandon her. He was silent, but never absent. He was preparing something miraculous for her ahead. Story 3. A glimmer of hope from prayer. Dear brothers and sisters, in the deepest darkness where every path seemed blocked, Sarah knelt. No more flowery words, no more rational arguments, just a broken, bleeding heart and a sincere plea. Lord, I don't know what to do anymore. Please grant me peace. Please show me the way. I trust in you. And brothers and sisters, that was the turning point. When prayer finds its voice, Sarah no longer prayed by rote, no longer as a religious ritual, but as the cry of a soul sinking into the abyss. And God, the one who never slumbers, listened. One morning, as she was desperately scrolling online for jobs, a notification appeared. Freelance content writer. No experience required, just passion and a willingness to learn. Sarah stopped. Her heart pounded. It wasn't her dream job. It wasn't the field she had studied, but it was a door, a glimmer of light, a whisper from God. Here, my child, go. And Sarah stepped forward. She spent the entire night refining her resume. Every word was written with prayer, hope, and trembling. Nothing was certain, but one thing was crystal clear. Faith had returned. Hope had been rekindled. And she was no longer alone. Lessons for each of us. 1. Prayer doesn't need to be perfect, just sincere. Sarah didn't recite a long prayer. She simply spoke to God with her true heart. And God heard. Because He doesn't need polished words. He needs a surrendered heart. 2. Darkness can be where light begins. Sarah had to lose everything to realize God was the only thing she needed, and only when she was lost did she look up. 3. The path God opens is not always what we expect. A freelance writing job, not in her plan, but it was the path God chose, not to be easy, but to foster growth. 4. Hope is a small lamp, but enough to keep going. Though just a simple job posting, it became a bright spot in the darkness. Be courageous and seize the small things, because sometimes miracles hide in what seems ordinary. Story 4. The miracle of unexpected provision. Dear brothers and sisters, when Sarah stepped out in faith, even if it was just a small step, God opened the heavens. Not only was she accepted for the freelance content writing position, but she also received an even greater miracle, the resurrection of hope. God provides. But in His own way, the income wasn't high. The job wasn't glamorous, but it was enough. Enough to live, enough to pay the bills, and, most importantly, enough for Sarah to feel she was not abandoned. Not long after, strange things began to happen. A forgotten tax refund arrived exactly when the electricity bill was due. An old friend called, offering extra writing work. Delicious meals cooked in her small kitchen instead of wasteful spending. And in every simple detail, there was a trace of God's hand. God doesn't always do big things, but always does the right things. Miracles are not always about the heavens opening and showering down blessings. Sometimes a miracle is a well-timed email, an idea in the middle of the night, a friend appearing after many years. And Sarah gradually understood. He doesn't give me what I want. He gives me what I need, exactly when I need it. Lessons for each of us. 1. God provides in His own time. He is never late, never early, but always on time. The writing job wasn't glamorous, but it was enough to revive Sarah. 2. Small miracles are proof of great grace. Don't just look for grand wonders. Pay attention. A gifted bag of rice, a discounted bill, a friend checking in. Those are also miracles. 3. Peace doesn't come from a full wallet, but from faith. Even though she was still in debt, Sarah was no longer afraid because she knew God was walking with her. 4. Time with God is the soul's rejuvenation. With more flexible hours, Sarah returned to prayer, God's Word, and church. And that's what helped her recover, not just financially, but also in faith. Story 5. Peace that surpasses on all circumstances. Dear brothers and sisters, even though the numbers on Sarah's bank statement hadn't reached zero, her heart had been reset to zero. No more panic, no more bitterness, no more despair. Sarah, the woman who once sobbed in darkness, now wakes up each morning with a gentle smile. Not because everything is okay, but because she has become okay in everything. No longer a victim of debt, but a victor in spirit. I'm still in debt, but debt no longer controls me. This seemingly paradoxical statement is precisely the pinnacle of faith. Peace doesn't come after everything is resolved. Instead, peace arrives first, because the Lord has taken residence in her heart. Sarah learned to surrender, trust, and hand over her burdens to the one who is mighty enough to carry them. Every night she prayed no longer out of fear, but out of gratitude. Every day she no longer counted money, but counted miracles and mercy. Redefining wealth. She no longer looked at others for comparison. She no longer felt like a failure due to a lack of material possessions. Sarah began to find joy in the small things. The birds singing in the morning, the sunlight streaming through her window, the smile of a friend at church. Wealth was no longer about her wallet, but about her heart. She was wealthy because she had peace, faith, and a deep connection with her Creator. Lessons for each of us. 1. Peace comes from within, not from external conditions. Her circumstances hadn't changed, but Sarah had. Her story proves that true peace comes from the Lord's presence, not from a bank account. 2. The power of surrender. When Sarah handed all her burdens to God, she wasn't just helped, she was freed. God doesn't always change our circumstances, but He changes our hearts, so we can face circumstances with power from above. 3. True freedom is freedom from the control of anxiety. Sarah didn't need to wait until she was out of debt to live. She lived right in the midst of debt, because she had freed her soul from the chains of fear. 4. True wealth is knowing contentment, gratitude, and knowing God. Sarah realized, money can buy convenience, but it can't buy peace. Only God can give that, and no one can take it away from us. 5. Faith is the key that unlocks freedom. When Sarah chose to believe, she was no longer a victim. She became a conqueror in Christ. The story of Sarah, a journey of spiritual restoration. Sarah's story isn't just about overcoming debt and financial hardship. It's a journey of spiritual restoration, a mirror reflecting each of us in our moments of weakness, lostness, and despair. Sarah began like many young people, full of aspirations, talent, and also the common mistakes in a world that values material possessions. But when everything fell apart, job loss, mounting debt, wavering faith, Sarah didn't deny reality. Instead, she knelt before God, offering him her broken heart. And it was in the deepest part of that darkness that the first light of restoration appeared. Through sincere prayer, through seemingly small opportunities, through every silent miracle that only those with faith can recognize. Sarah didn't wait for all her difficulties to disappear before finding peace. She found peace right in the middle of the storm, and that is the true miracle. A timeless reminder. Her story reminds us that no burden is too great for the one who carried the cross. No circumstance exists where he cannot provide, and no broken heart is beyond his healing touch. Sarah found freedom, not because she was out of debt, but because she surrendered her whole heart to God. If Sarah's story has touched your heart, please subscribe to our channel to help us spread testimonies, spiritual lessons, and rays of hope for every soul searching for light amidst life's storms. And don't forget to share this video with a friend. They might be struggling with difficulties and just need a gentle reminder. God is still there. He is still listening. You are not alone. And hope always begins with a prayer. So there you have it, dear brothers and sisters. Sarah's story is a vivid testament that even in the most challenging times, when every door seems closed, faith in God remains a source of strength and a guiding light. He not only frees us from material burdens, but also grants us inner peace, a peace that surpasses all understanding. Has Sarah's story touched your soul? What can we learn from her journey?